Okay, guys, so we were going to check your notation for the rest of period 3. So here we go. So when we look at the rest of period 3, we are going to fill in 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 electrons. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to write them in really quick. I'm not going to reference the hotel. So if you need to reference the hotel, go right ahead and do it. Okay, so here we go. So for sodium, we already gave you sodium. For magnesium, we are going to have neon, 3s2, and 3s up and down. Our dot picture is going to be magnesium with 2 dots. And our quantum numbers are going to be 3 for our N number, 0 because we're still in an s orbital, 0 because there's only one orientation, and -1/2 because it was a down arrow. For aluminum, we are going to have neon plus 3s2 and 3p1. So neon, 3s up and down, 3p up. Our dot picture here is going to be aluminum with 2 dots to the right showing the s2 electrons and 1 dot on top here to show the 1 electron for the p orbital. Our quantum numbers, third energy level, it's a p orbital, so our L equals 1. It's the first orbital, so it's L sub m equals -1, or m sub L, sorry, and it's an upspin, +1/2. Okay, so silicon. Let's change the color here so that we don't get so confused. So we're still going to use the noble gas notation of neon. We're still going to have 3s2 and 3p2. So we're going to have neon, 3s, both up and down, 3p, up and up. So our dot picture here for silicon, we're going to have 2 dots to the right showing our s orbitals, 1 on the top showing the first p orbital, and 1 on the left showing the second p orbital. Now we just put something in that second p orbital. Now remember that second p orbital is our 0 orbital. So we're in the third energy level. It's a p orbital, and it's the middle orbital, so it's the 0 orbital, and it was a upspin. Okay? All right, phosphorus. Let's choose yet a different color. So if I have phosphorus, I'm still going to have neon, 3s2, 3p3 now. Neon, 3s up and down, 3p up, up, up. So my dot picture, oh, please don't do that. It's going to be phosphorus with 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. Okay? So my quantum numbers, 3, 1. I'm now in the +1 orbital, and it's a +1/2. Okay? Sulfur, I'm adding yet another electron. So when I do that, I'm going to have neon, 3s2, 3p4. So neon, for my orbital notation, 3s up and down, 3p up, 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 and then that fourth one is going to need to go down. So my dot picture here for sulfur is going to be like this. 2 to the right, 2 on the top, 1 on the left, and 1 on the bottom. My quantum number, third energy level, p orbital, first orbital, so this is -1, and it's a downspin, so -1. Okay, how you doing so far? Okay, next one. Let's change the color again. Okay, one more electron. So neon. So we don't have to write it all out. 3s2, 3p5. Okay, so neon, 3s up and down, 3p up, down, and down to get our 5. Okay, so our dot notation for chlorine, we're going to have 2 to the right, 2 to the top, 2 to the left, and 1 on the bottom. So my quantum number, 3, it's a p orbital. It was in this middle orbital, so 0, and it was a down spin. Okay, and then last but not least, argon. So let's try argon. One more electron. So argon, neon plus 3s2 and 3p6. So neon plus the 3s up and down, the 3p, the 3 orbitals, up, 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 down, down, down. Okay, so my argon dot picture, 2 to the right, 2 on top, 2 to the left, 2 on the bottom. Once again, I've got an octet. It's totally full. So third energy level, it was a p orbital. It was the +1 orbital, and it was a negative spin electron. Okay, let's go on to potassium. Now, let's look at the periodic table for potassium. I am doing a totally new row. I'm doing 19 electrons. So let's see where that puts us on my hotel if I'm doing 19 electrons. Okay, so I didn't really reference the hotel, but as we are doing potassium, we have filled in all of these, haven't we? 3p6 for argon. This stops with argon, doesn't it? So notice my next energy level is indeed the 4s. And on the periodic table, I was in the 4th level. So I am now putting in that 1 electron. And guess what? We have a noble gas. So I can use a new noble gas for my notation. Just shorten things up. So we're going to now use argon for this, because it is the noble gas of the period before, right? Noble gas of the period before. I'm going to use argon. So here we go. Let's change our color. Okay, so instead of using neon now, I'm going to use argon. And the only thing we have beyond argon is 4s1. So argon, 4s upspin. So once again, remember when we do this, we want this to be up here, 4s upspin. Okay, remember when we do our dot picture, we are only using the highest quantum number. And right now our highest quantum number is 4 instead of 3. We only have 1 electron there. So our dot picture for potassium, just 1 little dot. Okay, so our highest electron is in the 4s, right here. So we are going to write 4. This is going to let me write. We have 4. It is an s orbital, so it's 0. It's only got the 0 orientation, and it was an up spin. Okay? I want you to see if you can do calcium by yourself really quick. Okay? Let's check. So calcium, we're going to have argon. Oh my. We're going to have argon, 4s2. So argon, 4s, both up and down. So calcium will have 2 dots. Now our quantum numbers, 4 for our energy level is still an s orbital, so 0 for the L number, 0 for the orientation. It's a down spin, so -1/2. Okay, let's see what happens now when we go to scandium. Now this is where it starts getting a little bit weird. So let's look at what we've got here. So if I put in, there's my calcium electron. Now, next thing you would say, okay, 4p would be next. But look, before we get to 3D, or 4p, 3D is actually a little bit closer in energy. Okay? So, and notice 3D is more energy than 4s. Now, the reason for that is the shape of the orbitals. The d orbitals are higher energy to do than the s orbitals. So the 4s ends up filling first, then the 3d. Okay? So we are going to start filling in these d orbitals. So when we look at this, a d orbital means that our L number is 2. That means that our M or our M sub L numbers can be -2, -1, 0, +1, and +2. So I'm going to label our orbitals. This is going to be -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, those are our orbitals. We're going to put in this first thing. Okay, so it's the 4th energy level. Actually, it's the 3rd energy level, excuse me. It's the D energy level. So here we go. So when we look at scandium, we are going to have everything that argon has. Is it going to let me write? It's going to let me, is it going to let me write?